Right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the briefing for Tuesday, the 14th of May. Sorry for the delay there. My microphone isn't playing ball, so I'm using my headphones. Hopefully this works. Okay, looking at the midnight chart here, we can see we had this cold front go overnight, and that brought with it, of course, lots of rain. That's just in the process of clearing through. Midday today, you can see it's over towards the east coast, and we've got this low pressure system just sat fairly stationary just off the west coast of Cornwall. As we wind it forwards, at least to midnight today, there's not a lot of movement. That low pressure stays in the same place. Cold front pushes away further to the east. But then by midday tomorrow, this occlusion associated with the low pressure sort of seems to open up, ends up over the top of us, which could cause some problems. But hopefully by tomorrow afternoon, that will have cleared through and may get some reasonable conditions out of it. Continuing on later in the week, that low pressure seems to be dissipating and seems to be clear of frontal systems on Thursday. And looking to Friday and Saturday, a little bit of an unsettled picture with lots of these trough lines around to bring with it some interesting weather. Wind today looks like pretty much the same as yesterday, south-southeasterly, ever so slightly lighter, but still fairly brisk, about 20 to 25 knots. And that's going to put us on runway 16 today. Okay, sat pic, we can see that low pressure swirling away down to the west, and you can see we're over a fairly cloudy area at the moment. Does look slightly better, slightly west of us, so hopefully this is going to move out to the east and it will brighten up a little bit, but a fairly cloudy picture by the looks of it all day. You can see the rest of that cold front there, it's just really cleared us in the last couple of hours to the east. And you see there is actually some instability out to the west, closer to the low pressure. Some showers just over Devon and Cornwall here. Forecast then as we go through the morning. It's being a little bit slow. It's not really having this, is it? Let's give it a refresh, see if that's worked. And hardware's not been very kind to me today. I will come back to that tab. Public forecast then showing pretty cloudy all day with a singular sunny interval at 3 p.m. Temperature increasing to about 15, 16 degrees and a fairly steady breeze from the south-southeast by the looks of it, peaking around midday. Currently, humidity sat quite high, slowly reducing off as the morning goes on and a little bit better into the afternoon. So shouldn't be too bothered about a low cloud this afternoon. I think it might just be a little bit of a slow start looking out the window now, but I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. Midday temperatures then about 15, 16 degrees with dew points sat at around 11 to 12. So there is a split there, but it's not very big. Let's leave those for now. Odium then half an hour ago scattered at 700, which isn't very high over Lasham, that's about 500. But their forecast, 8 knots from the south-southeast. Scattered at 3,000. They put a tempo here up until 11 a.m, broken at 2,000. They're not really forecasting much of this lower cloud. They're putting here scattered at 1,000 until 11 a.m. But that's only a probability 30. Farnborough looking fairly similar. They've got a temporary until about 10 a.m. for low cloud and drizzle, but otherwise not too bad. Currently scattered at 900 feet, which again about 700 feet above Lasham. Hopefully improving soon. Potential flight distance for the day, as shown, not brilliant really. Just run through significant weather. This is 10 a.m. You can see low cloud in our area. 11 a.m. starting to clear up. Should be flyable by then at the very latest. And slowly improving as we go into the afternoon. Doesn't look like the clouds ever going to get particularly high. And potentially some drizzle around, possibly moving in from the west later on, but I think we should be okay there. So afternoon looking a little bit nicer. Could be a bit of a slow start this morning. We'll have a look at thermals. Let's go for midday. Yeah, showing convections about 2,000 feet with cumulus. Going into the afternoon, potentially 2,500 feet. But I think it's going to be quite cloudy pretty much all day. Site forecast then. Usable height above ground, about 1,500 feet this morning, and then 2,000 feet going into the afternoon. Thermal strength about 1 knot on average by the looks of it. So it's not going to be brilliant. You might be able to scratch something out of it, but you're not going to be going very far or for very long today, I expect. Right, let's see if this rainfall radar wants to work now. No, still not having it. We'll leave that. No temps locally. There's one here, 29 live firing just out to the west, surface at 1,300 feet above sea level. So we're gonna be out there today. Operationally, then it's going to be a standard setup on 1-6 launch point in the middle of the runway, winching down from the grass down the east side of the runway. Any aeroturning will be off the west side here, also in line with 1-6, and all circuits in the direction and landing in the direction of 1-6. Please be cautious here. Quite tall trees all the way along here, so keep your approaches nice and high. Anticipate lots of sink behind the trees. So lots of height on the approach, lots of air brake, and lots of energy, please, landing well into the airfield. No movements today, and the simulator is serviceable if we need it this morning, but I do suggest we get out there, get things set up, and then if it's still no good, we can always come back for a short period of time, but I'm hoping it's not going to take that long. 3 K21s, 2 K13s, 2 baby crops, and all 3 discuses today. The fork is unfortunately unserviceable at the moment. Ground handling, just a little reminder with turning on the belly hooks. One of the main ideas with it is it allows the cable to be attached and detached without opening the canopy. So please try and do that. It's less cycles on them, and every time you open them, you do risk breaking them. So try not to open the canopy while the glider's moving, unless you really need to in emergency. Maybe the buggy driver's going off in a funny direction and not paying attention. Buggy drivers, when you bring the glider up to the back of the queue or you're parking wherever you're going, stop fairly abruptly by applying the brakes, and that will create a bow in the rope. And then the person on the nose can just pull the cable backwards and it will come off the back release without opening the canopy. Ground radio's working really nicely. Just make sure we get them in at the end of the day. Okay, yeah, as I say, I think we should get things set up. I'll see you out there. Bye for now.